The first thing I saw that morning was a bright red paper nailed to my ranch gate. 48 hours to leave this property. Below that was a fresh HOA logo. One I had never seen before. Before I could pull the paper off, 3 SUVs rolled onto the dirt road. A woman in a white business suit stepped out with 6 board members behind her. She smiled like she had already won. "You've had enough time," she said loudly. "This ranch now falls under our community. If you're still here after 48 hours, we'll remove you." I looked around at my land. The same ranch my grandfather bought almost 70 years ago. Over 3,000 acres. My father raised cattle here. I was born in the small farmhouse behind me. Every fence post had a story. I folded the notice and asked one simple question. "Who gave you permission to stand on my property?" She laughed. "We don't need permission. The HOA controls this area now." The men behind her started taking pictures of my barn, my horses, even the house. One of them placed orange paint marks on my fence. I walked over and wiped the paint away with my glove. "Don't touch my fence again?" The woman crossed her arms. "Everything here will belong to us soon anyway." That sentence didn't make any sense. And that's what bothered me the most. My ranch had never been inside any. The nearest neighborhood was almost 6 miles away. There wasn't a single HOA sign between their homes and my gate. So I asked, "Show me the papers." She reached into a folder and waved several documents in the air but pulled them back before I could read them. "You'll see them in court, if you can afford one." Then she turned to the others. "Start measuring. The clubhouse expansion can finally move forward." Clubhouse? I felt my stomach tighten. Nobody had ever mentioned building anything near my ranch. One board member whispered, "The lake access is worth millions once this old man is gone." They didn't know I heard every word? Old man. That almost made me smile. People often judged me by my dusty boots and old pickup truck. They never asked why I still lived simply, or why I never sold this land despite million-dollar offers. I stayed calm. "You have 10 seconds to leave." The woman stepped closer until we were face to face. "Or what?" I pointed toward a wooden post beside the gate. A small black camera was quietly recording everything. "Or you'll explain all this to the sheriff." She laughed so hard the others joined her. "The sheriff already knows about this." For a second, I wondered if she was bluffing. Then a county patrol truck appeared at the end of the road. The HOA board smiled at each other. The woman looked straight into my eyes. "I told you." "He's on our side?" The patrol truck stopped beside us. The deputy stepped out slowly, looked at the notice on my gate, looked at me, then at the HOA president. And the first words out of his mouth changed everything. "Sir, I need to ask everyone here one question." He wasn't looking at me. He was looking directly at the HOA board. The deputy took off his sunglasses and looked at the HOA president. "Before anyone says another word, who gave you permission to enter this ranch?" The woman answered without hesitation, "We're the HOA. This property is under our control now." The deputy slowly looked around the ranch. "I've worked this county for 15 years, he said. "This ranch has never been part of any HOA." For the first time, the smiles on the board members' faces began to disappear. The president quickly pulled a folder from her bag. "We have legal papers." The deputy read the first page, then the second, and his expression changed. "These signatures don't match the county records." She grabbed the papers back. "You're not qualified to decide that." "No," he replied calmly, "but the county clerk is, and she's already on her way." A black SUV drove through the gate a few minutes later. The county clerk stepped out with 2 investigators, carrying sealed boxes of land records. She compared the HOA documents with the official files. Then she looked directly at the deputy. These documents were never filed with the county. The property lines were changed on these copies. They're fake. The ranch fell completely silent. One board member quietly stepped backward. Another tried to get into his SUV. The deputy stopped him. "Nobody leaves." The AOA president raised her voice. "He's lying." This ranch belongs inside our new development. The county clerk shook her head. Not only is that false, this ranch holds the only legal water rights for nearly 5,000 acres around it. Everyone froze. That single sentence explained everything. They had never wanted the house. They wanted the water. Without those water rights, their expensive housing project could never be approved. The deputy called the sheriff. Less than 20 minutes later, 3 sheriff's vehicles arrived. The sheriff walked straight toward me. "Mr. Carter, I'm sorry your family had to deal with this." Then he turned toward the HOA board. "You're all being detained while we investigate fraud, trespassing, forged public records, and attempted property theft." The HOA president laughed nervously. "You can't arrest an entire HOA board." The sheriff answered with a calm smile. "I'm not arresting you because you're on an HOA board." He nodded toward the fake documents. "I'm arresting you because you thought these papers were stronger than the law." Deputies placed handcuffs on every board member. Neighbors who had quietly gathered outside the gate watched in complete silence. Several people began recording everything on their phones. Within hours, the videos spread across social media. News stations arrived before sunset. Investigators searched the HOA office the next morning. They discovered fake violation notices, forged signatures, secret bank accounts, and maps showing other properties the board planned to seize. The investigation grew larger every day. More homeowners came forward. Families who had paid illegal fines finally learned they had been cheated for years. Several board members accepted plea deals. The HOA president refused. She insisted until the very last day that she had done nothing wrong. The jury needed only a few hours. She was found guilty on multiple felony charges, including fraud, forgery, conspiracy, and attempted theft of property. The judge ordered restitution for every homeowner who had been harmed. The HOA itself was dissolved. Its remaining money was returned to victims through the court. A few months later, I stood beside my ranch gate. The old warning notice was gone. In its place hung a simple wooden sign my grandson helped me carve. "Private ranch, family owned, freedom lives here." He looked up at me and asked, "Grandpa, were you ever scared?" I smiled. "Of course. Then why didn't you leave?" I rested my hand on the old gate. "Because if you walk away from what's right just because someone shouts louder than you, they'll keep doing it to the next family." He nodded quietly. The evening sun settled over the ranch. The cattle grazed peacefully. The wind moved through the fields exactly as it had for generations. And for the first time in months, the only sound left was freedom.